A group of climate change organisations have
emissions of greenhouse gases.
Climate change is now happening.
Indonesia says it's
10 million tons of...
The Philippines tops a list of countries most susceptible to hazards caused by climate change.
Climate change. It's a phrase we hear so often that sometimes we forgot what it truly means. But behind these words lie real stories. Stories of people losing homes, children breathing polluted air, animals searching for habitats that no longer exist. For our presentation, we started with those three questions. How concerned are the people about climate change? How well do they actually understand it? And did they learn enough of it at school? Most people said they were quite concerned. They aren't very concerned, but still a bit. Now, how well do they understand it? A lot of people understand the basics of it, but there is still a lot of things that they don't understand and that they maybe should, because of all the things happening. Where do they actually learn about it? It's at school, but just as I said, they actually maybe don't learn enough of it. Now, to understand climate change, we must start with something simple. The difference between weather and climate. Weather is actually a moment, like rain that's tapping on your window, or the wind that's brushing through your hair. Climate, in opposite, is a pattern. Decades of seasons, temperature, storms, and rhythms of nature. And that pattern is changing. The greenhouse effect is a natural phenomenon. It's like a blanket that keeps Earth warm, enough for life. But imagine adding blanket after blanket, layer after layer, until the planet begins to overheat. That is what human activity has done. We asked in question 4 whether people believe humans are the main cause. Most of the people answered yes to this question. They think that all of the climate change is because of what man did. Now, the causes are not distant or mysterious. They live in our routines, our habits, our world. And I'm going to talk about some of them. One of the causes are fossil fuels. Every morning when we turn on the light, either we charge our phone or take the bus, somewhere, fossil fuels are being burned. Trains, planes, factories, cars can go as long, but all of these are releasing invisible gases that rise into the atmosphere and they are trapped as heat. A second big cause is deforestation. Forests are the lungs of our planet, but we actually cut them down. For farmland, for homes, for products, we barely think about. Every tree that falls releases carbon back into the air. And every forest that disappears removes a line of defense. People don't imagine how important this actually is. The Amazon is considered as the lungs of the nature, and cutting the Amazon forest would be a huge mistake. Another cause would be agriculture. These are actually livestock that produce a gas called methane. Methane is a gas that is actually even stronger than CO2. And a lot of people don't realize this, but this is really bad. Lastly, we have consumption. And there is us, the consumers. We buy, we use, we throw away, often without even seeing the impact of it. The planet sees it and remembers it, looking at the rising CO2 curves that are sharp, unstoppable, that are climbing like a heartbeat racing out of control. This is the story of human activity written in the sky.
The temperature of Earth. The temperature of Earth is rising, and with it, the balance of nature is breaking. Summers grow hotter, forests dry out, glaciers, enormous frozen walls that have existed for thousands of years, melt and retreat at a pace never seen before. Sea levels rise silently, inch by inch, swallowing coastlines that generation once called home. In our research, people told us what worried them most. For many, it was this, the warming of our one and only home. But it doesn't stop there. The weather is becoming more violent. Storms and hurricanes grow stronger, tearing apart communities in hours. Droughts last longer, leaving fields cracked and empty. Floods sweep through towns, leaving behind only mud and memories. When we asked how often people experience extreme weather, in our research, many said they feel the change, they see it, they live it. Look to the ocean. Coral reefs turn white, losing color, losing life. Look to the forests. Species disappear faster than we can discover them. Look to the sky. Migratory birds confuse their seasons, arriving too early or too late. Nature is speaking loudly. The question is, are we listening? Climate change is not just about melting ice or endangered animals. It is about people. Farmers watch their crops fail. Children breathe polluted air. Families lose homes to floods. Heat waves claim the lives of the elderly, and millions may soon become refugees, not because of war, but because their lands can no longer sustain them. In response to our questionnaire, many people told us what they fear most is this human suffering. And they're right, the cost of inaction is paid in lives. Belgium is not safe from this story. We have seen floods that destroyed entire villages. We have lived through heat waves that pushed our hospitals to the limit. We have felt storms that struck harder than ever before. Families broken, homes washed away, fields ruined. These aren't scenes from another continent. They are here in our backyard. Many Belgians told us we never imagined it could happen to us. But climate change does not choose its victims. It affects everyone.
Yes, this story is frightening. If we are honest with ourselves, climate change scares us. And it should, because it reminds us that the world we grew up knowing may not be the world we grew old in. But this story, our story, is not over. It is still being written, page by page, decision by decision. And the ending is still in our hands. Countries today stand at a crossroads. One path leads to more destruction, more burning forests, more polluted air, more suffering. But the other path, the path of change, leads somewhere else. Imagine a world powered not by smoke and fire, but by the natural forces that surround us. Solar panels, capturing sunlight not just on rooftops, but across entire landscapes, turning warmth into energy, turning hope into electricity. Wind turbines spinning with the storms, transforming powerful winds into clean, endless power. Imagine cities where the air is no longer thick with exhaust, electric cars gliding silently through the streets, releasing no fumes, harming no lungs. Imagine children growing up breathing clean air, not a luxury, but a right. We often hear about the Paris Agreement, but it is more than a signature. It is a promise that today's world makes to tomorrow's children, a promise that we will not hand them a planet broken beyond repair, a promise we must keep, because breaking it would mean breaking their future. But global action is not enough. Our communities, the places we live, study, work and grow, also carry tremendous power. Think of cities designed for life, not just traffic. More cycling paths where people can move freely and safely. Cleaner buses and trains running every day, giving everyone a greener way to travel. Imagine neighborhoods with more trees, more flowers, more green spaces, places where people can gather, where wildlife returns, where nature heals the cracks we have created. Community recycling systems that actually work. Schools teaching sustainability not as a chapter but as a duty. Local markets supporting sustainable farmers. When communities act, even small communities, change becomes real. Change becomes visible. Change becomes something we can touch, breathe and live. And when one community changes, others follow. That is how movement begins, not from the top, but from the people. And what about us? What about the individual? The one voice, the one choice. In our research, people told us what they believed they could do. And their answers were powerful, because they were simple. Use energy more wisely, because every light switched off is a tiny piece of the planet saved. Buy only what we truly need, because overconsumption is costing the earth more than we ever imagined. Avoid single-use plastics, because something we use for 10 minutes should not pollute the planet for centuries. Choose sustainable options, because where we spend our money shapes the world we live in. Raise awareness, because conversations plant seeds. Speak out, because silence allows destruction to continue unnoticed. One person alone cannot solve everything, but one person can inspire 10, and 10 can inspire 100, and 100 can inspire 1,000. This is how revolution begins. Climate change is not someone else's problem. It is not a problem for the future. It is not a problem for other countries. It is our problem, right here, right now. And yet there is something incredible, hopeful about this moment in history. We are alive during the most important environmental turning point humanity has ever faced. We are the generation standing on the edge, and the world is watching which way we choose to step. We will be remembered either for saving the planet or for watching it fall apart. Climate change is real. It is human-caused. It is frightening, but it is also solvable. The future has not been decided. The story is not over, and hope is not lost unless we choose to abandon it. Let this film be a reminder. Every choice matters. Every voice matters. Every action matters. The planet is asking for help, and the only question left is, will we answer? Because simply put, if we don't protect nature, then we cannot protect ourselves.